Oh, Bobby Heiken.
Yeah.
We're live.
There we go.
This is great.
So are these headphones, are these are just decorative?
Yes.
We can use them. They give a little bit of feedback. I think they're designed to keep people from talking over each other, but we're so polite and well-mannered that we don't talk over each other.
Yeah. I like what you've done with the place. This is nice.
You like it?
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah, welcome.
It's like it's been extended out about a foot or two on each side. This is nice. This is really nice.
We could probably fit one more person in here.
No.
That's what we used to do with Ani. It used to be 4 of us, and
we'll get back to Ani later. That's part of my hot take.
Oh wow.
Bobby's ready. Yes.
He came prepared.
Let's start with that. Let's start with that right now.
Yeah.
What happened to Ani? I mean, did the band break up? Why is he not here?
Yeah, it was kind of like the Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah.
And he was who was that guy who left, who broke out?
Will I Am?
Yeah, I Am. Ani's like Will.
So is he doing his own thing now? And how did he get replaced by Coy? That's what I want to know. And what does Coy bring to this?
Coy was like
what's he bring to the show?
Coy was the backup dancer who secretly had like a beautiful voice, who now has elevated his role.
Okay.
All right. That's Coy.
So that was my take. I've watched all the episodes.
That's not a hot take.
It's not hot, but it's a question. But I'm concerned. I think the Dateline should be involved here. What happened to Ani with the show and everything?
We'll do a 60 minutes.
Yeah,
I think we should.
Yeah.
Really
How about bring him back and let's interview Ani and maybe dig deep of what happened?
Wow, Bobby knows what he's talking about. This is a good idea.
On Apple Podcasts, he still gets all the credit.
His name is still
a co-host.
Yeah. His future's bright then.
Yeah,
so he's okay. You're saying he's doing okay.
He's doing okay.
A silent partner. Yeah.
Yes, he's getting part of our commission. So
okay, just want to make sure he's
okay.
Okay.
He wasn't able to give the same commitment as he was at the beginning.
So. Unlike the rest of us, he is very busy.
Yeah,
yes.
He goes to school.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. So just to get right to it, what is your favorite sports program at Southern Oregon University?
My favorite sports program at Southern Oregon University.
Other than softball.
Other than softball. They got some players on that team that are, I'm joking. Yeah. I don't know. I like them all. I really don't have a favorite. I really, one of the great things about this job is being involved with all the student athletes and coaches and staff, right? And home events. I love being at all the home events, all that. A lot of people know this. I did not grow up a soccer person at all. I still am not a soccer person, but I really enjoy going to the soccer matches now.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the things you sort of learn as in this profession as you get going along. The basketball games, the volleyball matches. I mean, I think part of it is the excitement of athletics, and that's why we're all involved in athletics, right? But also the quality of the student athletes that we have here make it a joy to be involved with these programs. My role as associate athletic director is, I go deep into all kinds of different duties in the department. But one of them is pretty much between Matt and myself, we're at every game. Every home game we're there, and we get to learn about the student athletes, watch them play, watch them grow, especially over, through COVID. We're seeing people 5-6 years here and seeing them grow from an 18-year-old out of high school to 22 or 28 or 48 or whatever Brett is. So we get to see them mature, and becoming the young adults here. And that's part of higher education. That's why we're all involved in that as well.
Yeah, I was kind of giving you a hard time to try and pick a sport, but that's exactly right. And that's what it seems like. You're everywhere.
Yeah.
You're at every event, and you're supportive of everyone. And, I think department wide, we do a really good job of kind of like circling the wagons and supporting everyone. And that's what brought me back to Southern Oregon, and I think a lot of people that were Raider athletes or SOU students or worked in the department once, Burke's back and Stu's back.
It's crazy to go up and down the hall of not only alums, but people who've been here before. Josh Rolfing is an alum. Jenny Rosenberg, our women's soccer coach, she played here for a year or two. Cheyenne Bricker, who's the assistant softball coach, is an alum. Greer Gatlin, track and field. Zolzol, you get down the football staff now, the wrestling staff. It's impressive. And you don't see that a lot. And there's something about SOU, there's something about Ashland and the Rogue Valley that, it brings people back. It's a special place. I love being part of it. I was gone like you were, TJ. I was gone for for 6 years and moved back and been here 15 years now. You know, it's
Yeah.
just something that you enjoy being part of, and when you're away, it seems like you're trying to find a way to get back. You know,
Mhm.
and seeing, especially, you know, because it's fresh, seeing Bert come back as the head football coach, and you know, that's what we want. We want our alums to go and have success and come back and, you know, and celebrate all that they've done. And it's something special that we have here, and it's tough to put a finger on it, but I know 15 years ago when I came back, it was a different story. You know, I don't know if a lot of a lot of alums were back then, and I think a lot of the credit goes
Mhm.
to Matt
Mhm.
and what he's done as our athletic director, and his vision of what he wants in the athletic department. And it starts with the staff and the coaches that he's hired, and the character they bring, the type of people they are, and of course that trickles right down to the student athletes that they're recruiting and coaching and seeing graduate.
Yeah, that's a great point about the alums. It just continues to get stronger and stronger, and when I was an athlete here, a student athlete here, I don't necessarily remember, like you're saying, I don't remember a bunch of alumni being around or having a ton of support, and Matt's done an amazing job.
Yeah, it's fun to sort of work side by side, you know, with him, and he's one of the main reasons we came back. You know, we were in Colorado, and things were going good, and just, you know, we had a 4-year-old daughter at the time, and we were sort of, we didn't want to be, as you guys know, we didn't want to be, you know, one of those families that travels, you know, that every 2 years you got a job and you're in South Dakota 1 year, and then you're in Nevada, and then you're in Texas, and then you're back. We wanted to, you know, we wanted to have as much of a normal family life as you could have in athletics.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were pretty happy being at Western State in Colorado, and working there, and things were going good. But to get back closer to, you know, our parents and Gabby's grandparents was a very important to us, and to sort of, you know, find a place that she could grow up,
Mhm.
and that we felt safe and secure about, and also my wife's an alum too, to come back and, you know, a place that we love, you know.
Mhm.
And it was a, you know, it was a pretty easy decision when the job came up.
Yeah, having Gabby here has to add a whole 'nother dimension. Can you talk on that a little bit, what
Yeah,
that's
it
been like?
is. You know, Gabby's a freshman on the softball team, the only freshman there on that
Wow.
team. And yeah, you know, she is, as we sit here and we look at Coy, and you know, she was in that same boat. You know, I think at 2 weeks old, she was at a volleyball match, and she has
Wow.
just been around college athletics her whole life. And I think, you know, she wants to be a teacher and a coach when she gets out. And I think a lot of that comes with, at a very young age, she would come to work with me. And because I'm an early person, right? I want to get in early, and when there's not a lot of people around, but
Mhm.
there's always practices going on. And she, at a very young age, kindergarten, first grade, we'd get here at 7 o'clock. You know, she has to be at school at 8:30. She would just go in the gym and just sit there and watch practices. And just, I mean, she's just mentally, she's just into the college and the athletics lifestyle. And it's pretty cool to watch, and to watch her grow up and be able to go through the recruiting process, and now be on a college team is it's very exciting. And, you know, proud moments as a dad, and, you know, as parents, to see her living out her dream of playing college softball. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's incredibly cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so can you tell me a little bit more how you got to Southern Oregon in the first place? So you're from Mount Shasta,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
how did you end
grew
up
up
here?
in, Northern California, and, you know, played baseball, played football, played basketball. My original plan coming out of high school was to go the teacher coach route, and, had a wonderful, sort of mentor in high school by the name of Joe Blevins. You know, we're a small school, so he's that athletic director slash baseball coach slash football coach slash basketball coach type of
Right,
thing, but
right.
was just a good guy, taught PE, you know. And you know, I loved watching him and how he worked. And so when I was done, or getting, you know, close to being done in high school, I was like, all right, I want to do that teacher coach thing. I think, you know, you can impact so many people's lives with that. And I got accepted and was going to go to, and these are bad words, I was going to go to Carroll College.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was gonna go out there, and I visited Carroll College in beautiful Helena, Montana, and came back from the visit and changed plans, and went, nah, that's not for me. And it was kind of late in the process at that point. And so ended up going to college at Siskiyous
Mhm.
for 2 years, and saw that they had, under their communications here at Southern Oregon, under the communications major, was a a sports information. You could major in sports information. And I went, there it is. Still be involved in athletics and do that. So after 2 years at Siskiyous, came up to what was in Southern Oregon State College and worked
Mhm.
with Rich Rosenthal in the sports information department. Did everything from PA announcing to running the clocks to doing stats to writing and the websites. That's back when the websites were first getting big in the mid 90s. And so got a lot of experience working for him, worked for the school newspaper, and sort of went the journalism route for a while.
Mhm.
And then realized that college athletics is where I wanted to be, and took a took a job in Gunnison, Colorado, a Division II school out there, Western State College, and my wife Sarah and I moved out there and lived there for 6 years.
Mhm.
Had Gabby when we were out there, and the job out here opened twice, and I made a decision the first time that it wasn't the right time, and the second time was the right time. About a year or two later to move back. So that's how we got back here about 15 years ago.
Yeah, okay, and were you SID when you came back, or you were assistant
So
athletic
when I was at Western State, I started as SID, and then quickly moved into SID and assistant athletic director. And an SID job is a lot just
Mm.
by itself. I mean,
Mhm.
that is every sport every time, and we got one of the best in the business right now in Josh McDermott, and
Yeah.
it is full time all the time. And then when I add to the assistant AD stuff, it got to become a lot. And
Yeah,
so
how do
and
you
so
do that?
when we moved back, we moved back just to be the SID. We had a 4-year-old at the time, and I was like, all right, we're gonna live as normal of a family life as we can,
Mhm.
and I'm lucky to have a pretty supportive wife who knew going in, hey, if we're gonna hang out and spend time together on evenings, especially on the Thursday through Sunday range,
Yeah.
it's gonna be in a gym or at a football field probably. And she's been totally supportive of that. So came back as the SID, and there was a leadership change, and Matt got the knock on his door and said, "Hey, you're our interim athletic director," and then became the athletic director. And Matt came down to my office and said, "Hey, I need some help, and I'd love if you would help me out." And I was like, "Okay, but I don't want to get back into this sort of double duty thing."
Yeah.
And so after a couple years, I moved right into the associate athletic director role, and
Okay.
that's where I've been. Sort of Matt's number two guy, and following his lead and what he's done here.
Yeah, that would be it just seems like it'd be impossible to do both those
Yeah,
jobs. Like, you're one of the unsung heroes of the department, just like Josh. I mean, Josh is here in the morning before everyone, it seems like,
yeah,
before me, and then
yeah,
he's here in the evenings after everyone, and I know Fawn does a ton of work, and everyone kinda shares responsibilities, but you all do so much work, and you don't get a bunch of credit for it, or you don't ever have your picture on the
yeah.
website like we won the game or
Yep.
anything. Is that ever hard, or is that
No,
a role
no,
you
I
like?
think you have to have that mentality. If you struggle with that, you're not gonna last long. You're not
Mhm,
gonna last long in administration. It's not.
mhm.
I mean, and especially in a good way. It's part of the team. You're part of the team, and you can't. And it's just like you guys when you're working with your team and looking for leaders on your team and how your team melds together and everything like that. If you got a bunch of people, in some of those roles that want it to be all about them, it's not going to work,
Right.
and we've got a good group right now at the administrative level that are all similar thinking, have the same vision, that's been passed down, and we all work really well together. We're able to laugh, we're able to have a good time. And I think that, and I think it gets passed down to the coaches
Mhm,
and the trainers and the student athletes. It makes it fun to come to work,
mhm.
and that's key. If it's not fun to come to work with all the hours and the stuff that everyone has to do, it's not worth it.
Right.
And I think we're at that point right now that it's enjoyable to be around,
Mhm.
enjoyable to be around each other.
Yeah, and that can be hard sometimes in an athletic department. You have a bunch of alpha, whatever the
Yep.
sport is, and a lot of type A personalities, a lot of strong personalities. So to be able to have that camaraderie and for everyone to work together as a team, I mean, you have to have great leadership for
Yeah.
that to happen.
Well, and if you look at us, across the board with our programs right now that are all competing, and we've got one that's we had a change, and we'll get football back up to that level. But all of our programs right now are competing at that national level. If you
Mhm.
look across, if they didn't make it to nationals, They were like a game away from making it to
Mhm.
nationals. And I think if you look especially at SOU and SOU athletics, it's departments, it's coaches, like you talk about the alphas, but it's also ones that can work together. You have to. You have to you have to work together. Soccer's got to work with volleyball and basketball. Everyone's got to work together in everything we do. And if you look at the successful ones, that's what they do.
Mhm.
They're not scared to come down, walk down and knock on Coach Zozel's door and ask, "Hey, how do you take care of this? How do you do this? How do there's sort of everyone has a lot of pride, but we can sort of brush it aside and, be here for each other. And you see it at basketball games. And this year we're finally, knock on wood, we're finally getting out of COVID and we're getting away from that. But
Mhm.
just at the basketball games and the other events we have going on, when you look in the stands and there's those pockets of the women's soccer teams there and the football guys are there and the softball
Yeah.
teams are there and everyone's out supporting and they're in it with the cheerleaders and everything. That's the student athlete group here at SOU right now is very tight and
Yeah.
and to me that leads to the success we have. It really does. If you're on an island, if you got teams that are on an island, you may be good, you may have your little spike, but for the
Mhm.
long haul, it's not going to work. It's not going to work out at the small college level.
Yeah. Yeah, we've seen it real directly with us. When we have, a lot of support from the students there, it's a multiple point advantage,
Mhm.
like, I remember when we played Eastern at home, and it helped us a lot,
Yeah.
it makes it's we need it, just
Yeah.
like you said.
Well, and you guys see it on the road too. With our
Yeah.
conference, there's a wide range of student enrollments in the
Mhm.
Cascade Conference, and you go to some gyms where especially on basketball, the men's basketball team's playing, the majority of the crowds is the SOU women's basketball team.
Right, right.
And so if we can make it a little different here, there's a couple programs that do it. Like Oregon Tech's pretty good, College of
Yeah.
Idaho does a pretty good job, Eastern does a pretty good job of getting people out, but for the most part there's not a lot of that. So we can, the support makes a difference.
It
It
does.
does. Yeah.
Yeah. And you kinda touched on this earlier, the, I don't know how to word it. It just seems like the professionalism of the department and campus wide has just grown exponentially since I was a student athlete here, and it was great. I mean,
Mhm.
I love my experience, and it was great, but even just the branding and the facilities and the hawk and the dorms, and can you speak to that a little bit? Was that as someone's specific vision, or was that where did that all come
Well, I
from?
think I think, and I was a student here too. I think it was a matter of time.
Mm,
Uh,
mhm.
I mean, Southern Oregon was pretty old there for a while.
Yeah.
The facilities were old, and we've had a turnaround in athletics. Every facility we have in athletics has some sort of change in the last, let's say, 10 to 15 years, right?
Mhm.
But we're also seeing it on campus too. You can see it in the residence halls and the new dining facility. The science building was redone recently, right? They're
Mhm.
working up at Churchill and at Britt and different things like that. And I think, you have to keep up with the Joneses and everything you do, whether it's athletics or the university. Because at the end of the day, it's all about, what they say, the butts in the seats, right? It's all
Yep.
about enrollment. And you have to figure out what attracts students, not just student athletes, but students. And a lot of time it's new, it's cool. That
Yeah.
carries a lot these days.
Yeah.
There was times before you'd sit down with a professor and you talk about blah, 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 blah. But now you walk in and you do a campus tour and they take you straight to the new buildings, and
Yeah.
that's what you want. And we've been lucky enough in athletics to have that. Every facility we have, we got new turf at the stadium. Down at softball, the hitting facility was put in about 15 years ago. And of course, Lithium Motors Pavilion here is brand new. We're in our 5th year of having that. The beach volleyball courts, and there's still more to come on that too. In a few years, we're gonna have a wrestling facility. So things,
Mm.
it's always going to be changing. We're just striving to get better and better and have, make sure we do everything we can so it's the best experience for the student athletes.
Well, I know you've been instrumental in that too. You've fundraised a lot of money throughout your time here, and it seems like Matt Sayers done a really phenomenal job with that as well. You mentioned the wrestling. Is there any other, sort of visions that you guys have as a department of what comes next?
Well, the wrestling facility is number one. With budget cuts and everything, the wrestling room shrunk some just because it was based purely on cost to build the facility and square footage, right? So
Mm-hmm.
everything got a little small, and all of a sudden, when you have a wrestling program, back then we had one wrestling program. Now we have two that are carrying between 40 and 50 wrestlers. You need room. You need room for that. And so
Mhm.
we do need to give them an adequate wrestling room. Right now they're sharing the student rec center gym in the early mornings. Women's wrestling goes 6 to 8, men go 8 to 10,
Dang.
and they're in there, and it's great that we have the partnership with the SRC and can do that, but we also need to give them their own space. And one
Right.
one great thing, just talking about the gym, right?
Yeah.
You've got your practices, but if someone wants to come in and get some shots up, they can do that. We're kind of in a tough spot right now because we're kind of pigeon-toed into when wrestling practice is,
Yeah.
right? So as we
Yeah.
get a different facility, we get a little more room, then they can expand, their locker rooms get a little bit bigger, and with that come the opportunities to partner with some other groups on campus. ROTC is always looking for a home. There's stuff like that we can kind of partner with. And we did a nice job under the stadium with some kind of wasted space down there to make a weight room, right?
Mhm.
So that
Mhm.
we could have some team workouts. Still kind of snug for some of our bigger teams in there. So,
Mhm.
there's an opportunity there with a new facility to kind of get a new weight room in there, some educational features too, some study hall places, stuff like that
Nice.
we can
Yeah.
have some sort of dedicated study halls. So that way Aiden can come and he can eat his lunch in the conference room without anyone bugging him. Yeah.
Thank you, Bobby,
Yeah.
for looking out for my best
Yes.
interest.
Yeah.
I'm curious, just because I know we're sort of getting back to, like you said, like post COVID and some
Mhm.
normalcy. Like, how important is it to manage the budget and sort of, like you said, bring that cool factor to where we can still attract student athletes and boost enrollment?
Well, it's very important, and we're in a tough spot right now too. President Bailey, who's been here, a little over a year, and I think is doing an amazing job of trying to change the way things are done here at SOU. We we were in a pattern there of retrenchments and budget cuts across the board every couple years, and not getting out of it, and he's come in and said, you know what? We're going to change the way we do things. We have to. It's getting a little stale. We're not getting out of this rut that we're in. We're going to reimagine some of the things we do. So the budgets right now are a little tight as we look to grow and everything like that. But you always have to look, 1 or 2 years ahead of how we change facilities. How do we, it's little things like, on our facility list is at some point getting a video board in the gym, different things like that, that again, keep you up with the like-minded schools that you're recruiting against,
Yeah.
of like, hey, we just added this, we added this. Adding that video board down at the stadium in football a couple of years ago was huge.
Yeah.
Huge. It makes a huge jump in our game day atmosphere. Recruiting, they have that on when football has their recruiting weekends. They come down and they got the recruits photos and their videos up there going the whole time there. And that's a cool factor, and that's something that we hope, and in most cases it's true, results in that person coming to college. And then you got tuition, you got everything else. All of a sudden you got more students here, and that's, at the end of the day, that's the goal here in higher education, to get more students.
Mhm.
And we're
Yeah.
lucky enough with our student athletes, the high retention rates, the high graduation rates. There's a positive that we're bringing to the university as a whole.
Yeah. That helps a lot.
I think there's a certain demographic of people that would say and think that, oh, athletics, they take up so much money, and,
Mhm.
student athletes get this, this, and that, while, a average student or whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it doesn't. But I think we all know, and you specifically, how important is athletics just to a school in general, and all it brings, like you said, with enrollment and tuition and all that, that some people may not understand from the outside.
Yeah, I think the problem we have, and the sticking point a lot, is the people who question it a lot are stuck on that Division I mentality, where everyone's getting a scholarship, right?
Mhm.
And football has 17 different jerseys, and they fly everywhere, and everyone's got the coaches all have these large contracts and everything like that. At the
Mhm.
small college level, that's not it at all. I mean, like I talked about, you can walk up on campus and talk to faculty, talk to staff about, the on average, they got the higher GPAs, everything like that. But they also bring life to the student. They bring, or to the campus. They bring diversity to the campus. There's a lot that we're bringing in, and they become really good alums for the most part. They become really good alums and look to give back. So there's a lot of positives, to have athletics on a small college. You got to do it right though.
Right.
You got to have control of it. It can't just sort of go off the rails budget wise. But if you do it right, there's a lot of positives that it can bring to a small college campus.
Yeah, no doubt. Just a couple things I wanted to piggyback off that. You said with diversity, I mean, an overwhelming majority of our students of color have to be athletes, I
Yes.
would think, on our
Yes.
campus, which is good for everyone,
And Ashland.
in Ashland. Yeah. Yeah. You drive around Ashland and
The whole valley, really.
Yeah.
yeah. So that's really cool. And then if you talk about with scholarships and I doubt I don't think there's an athlete that just gets everything paid for.
No,
here,
I think
right?
the average Raider Club scholarship is between 2,500 and 3,000.
Wow,
And
yeah.
that means, that there's student athletes who are getting $5,000-6,000 from Raider Club, which is athletics, right? So that's just athletics money. There's
Right.
also people getting 500 and 1,000, and if you look at our successful programs, they may end up with a pretty good package, but it's because they came in as a 3.8 student.
Mm-hmm.
So they're getting the merit scholarships. They may be getting some housing remission. They probably got scholarships coming out of their high school, right?
Mm-hmm.
They may be a diversity student, have qualified for diversity scholarships. So because of that, all of a sudden there's a large, a really good financial package when they come here,
Mm-hmm.
except for that part of athletics. All that's eligible to every student that comes to college as well.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yep.
And if you break it down to an hourly wage and how much time they put into the sport, it's
Yep.
probably still not
Yeah.
a very high
Well,
hourly
and that's
wage.
if you look at the student athletes and why they do so well in the classroom too, is they all have amazing time management skills.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've been doing this since junior high. Well, now they've been doing it since younger than that with travel softball, travel
Yeah.
baseball, travel basketball, travel soccer, where you're doing your homework in the back of the car, and
Yeah.
you're practicing every night, and you're eating dinner if you stop by and grab something to eat type of thing. It's
Mm.
not like it used to be where you come home and you got practice and then you got time at the house and you're doing your homework and stuff like that. So student athletes have to have amazing time management skills. And because of that, they're doing well in the classroom, they're doing well in college, and employers love them. Absolutely love them,
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when Gabby was in high school or playing her most softball, how many games a year would she play?
I look back and the more I've gone through, I was lucky enough to on the softball side, I coached softball in Ashland from T-ball through her senior year at the high school.
Wow, I didn't
Yeah.
realize
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So that was and yeah. So I think in our 14U season, which has been, 8th grade going into freshman, I believe for softball that year, we played 53 games.
Wow.
And I'm pretty sure that that's getting blown away. Someone last night at our basketball game, who I know, came in and they have a daughter, and they told me their goal was 100 games.
That
And
seems
my
unhealthy.
response was, "Well, are you having fun?" That was my response. We've gone off the rails with that.
That's a
We've
little much.
That
100
seems
games?
unhealthy
That was
almost.
the goal for this group that they're playing with, is 100 games this year.
And what was their response to your response?
Smiled and we walked in separate directions. We just sort of moved on.
Jeez.
So it's getting ridiculous, and I was lucky enough when I was, I coached the basketball team and softball when they were young, and ran the volleyball club. And then when we got to high school, the program, when we got to the high school, the softball program hadn't played a varsity game in 2 years. And I had a group that was coming into high school, including my daughter. And so I went as a very friendly, unlike a lot of the meetings that happen these days, a very friendly meeting with the athletic director. And I said, "Hey, so what's the plan? We've got a group that's been playing a lot of pretty good level softball that's coming into a program that you guys haven't played varsity softball in a couple of years. You guys have just been playing JV, even though you have juniors and seniors. You've just been doing that."
Why?
They just decided that was the route they wanted to go. And a couple weeks later, I ended up being the coach. So that sort of got me in the high school realm there. And so we went with a team that was mostly freshmen straight to varsity. That's why I said we're not gonna. I go. I know we only have enough players for one team, but
Yeah.
we're not gonna play JV. If we take our lumps, we take our lumps. So, we took off there as freshmen in Gabby's freshman class,
Mhm.
and we took some lumps, but we got some wins, and we got going into last year. We were 16-10 and made it to the state tournament, and so there's positives out of that. But there, it was just and I told the AD every year. I go, I have no pride in this. If someone else comes along that wants to do it, it's all theirs.
Yeah.
It's all theirs, and so being able to go through that with that group, here in Ashland, and Ashland struggles sometimes with depth. They really
Mhm.
do, and the total number of students at the high school here is enough for them to be a 5A school. But if you look at it, it's because students on both girls and boys side, they're playing 3 sports.
Wow, yeah.
There's no depth,
Yeah.
you know, and it hurts. It hurts Ashland a lot, you
Well,
know.
that's incredible that you were able to do that, to
Well
coach that team and everything you're doing at SOU.
well, Matt, I had a pretty good agreement with Matt,
Yeah.
and the hours that I would work and make sure I didn't miss anything, and if I did, that we had it covered, and Matt was awesome about it to make it work and make sure that we didn't skip a beat,
Mhm.
and it meant a lot to me that he allowed me to do that and sort of see my daughter through, playing sports and not missing any games because I
Yeah.
had to be there,
Yeah.
so that was pretty cool to be able to get
Well, the
that done.
experiences that you provided for all those
Yeah.
students, all the girls on the team, like,
Yep.
if you don't go into the athletic department and tell them, "I'm ready to lead this program, if
Yeah.
this is what we have to do because we need it," that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I would guess that you're really close to a lot of those girls
Yeah.
still.
Yeah. Well, and there was the same group that had been sort of going since T-ball,
Mhm.
and as you will probably soon know, coaching your daughter or son, not a lot of people sign up for that for obvious
No,
reasons.
yeah, it's hard.
That sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks. And it sucked for me, sucked for Gabby,
Yeah,
but we made it. We made it through,
yeah.
and but that's hell. It is, because you always what that person can do, and I always just try to make sure I had really good assistants,
Mhm,
really good, especially coaching a female sport. I
mhm.
always had female assistants,
Yeah.
and again, lucky enough, I had a applicant pool of a lot of females here at SOU that I could,
Oh, yeah.
student athletes that I could get to come over and
Yeah.
help out on that. So I made sure I was able to use that, and if they needed practicum hours or internship hours, that
Right.
was and
Yeah.
help me so it's less me, more them.
Great for them
Yeah.
too,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, straight out of college to get experience like that and get in front of parents and be able to coach and learn little more skills than you were doing, during the college
R
years.
right.
So,
Did
Yeah.
did
yeah.
you ever get a chance to coach any other sports or just softball mostly?
Just softball. Yeah. Yeah. I coached one JV girls game last year. We
J
lost.
JV girls what
JV girls
sport?
basketball.
Oh,
Yeah.
bas
Yeah,
oh,
just because you gotta be certified to coach and pass all their certificates and everything, and they had an away game, and the coach couldn't be there, so I
Yeah.
was going anyways as a dad. So I was like, "Sure, yeah, well, I'll go sit on the bench."
yeah. How was that
It
experience?
was good. Shoulda had them. They ran it up on us.
They did?
Well, in Oregon, they had that stupid rule that you can drop down and play, so you got 5 quarters to
Yeah.
play. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous, and the thing is, the varsity team, they were number 1 in the state, and they still played varsity players down for 2 quarters in the JV game. Like,
What's
come
the
on.
point of that?
Come
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that South Medford or somebody?
No, that was, up in the Eugene area.
The Lancers?
I'm not gonna you never know when we gotta
Yeah.
recruit someone. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Spill
it's
the
smart.
beans,
Yep,
Bobby.
yep.
So, you've been here, you've had 15 years at
Yeah, I
SOU.
think this is my 15th year
This
back.
is 15th. What are some what are some of your favorite memories, like, from sports programs, things that really stick in your mind, years or different
I think in
things?
like the last 10 years, the success of the programs, and we're not here to win. We're not, all that. Right. But when you do, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And that 2014 run with football was very, very cool. And because it got everybody. It got everybody, all the alums.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
We're winning a championship and it's football,
Yeah.
And when Coach Howard and that staff came and the way they changed everything those years was insane, insane. And he comes in the interview process and he was up in age, and he's telling, yeah, we're gonna win. We're gonna win in 4 years. We're gonna do this. And we're like, okay, all right, dude. Like, sure. And then he just never let up. He never let up on that, and he never let up on the recruiting end of it. His staff never let up on it, and there were times you'd look at him a little sideways and be like, "There's no way in hell that's gonna have you not been at Southern Oregon? I know you're new. We don't do that." And the program, when he took over, the program was on life support. It was days away from not being a program when he took it over.
Yeah, well, Burke shared that with us on the podcast. He said we didn't know if we were going to
No, they got rid of the staff, and the program was going in a different direction at that point. And Matt made the move. I think that was his first move, and he got rid of that, and he kept Burke and he kept Stu around and pretty much told them, I don't know what's going to happen, but let's keep recruiting, keep the boat afloat, and we'll see what happens. And at the same time, him and President Caughell, who was here at the time, was trying to get in the Frontier Conference because we were playing an independent schedule that guaranteed us absolutely no home games. I mean, there was years we had 1 or 2 home games, and we just have to travel everywhere else to play because we're an independent. We didn't have a conference. We were playing Division IIIs. We're playing the FCS schools, the Portland States. We're playing D2s. We're playing Menlo 4 times a year just to have games. I mean, that's
anyone
an exaggeration,
but yeah,
we're just trying to make it work. And for it to be successful, we had to be in a conference. We had to be in a conference, and we had to pump some life into the program somehow. And Burke and Stu did a great job, and that's why they're still around. And that's why they came back. They did a great job of keeping us going. And with uncertainty with them.
Yeah.
Uncertainty, they didn't know they have a job in 2 months. They didn't know we have a program tomorrow.
You're right.
And they kept trudging along and did a great job. And then, and we started interviewing people, and Coach Howard you couldn't get away from him. You couldn't, and he came in from day one and just changed everything that was happening. And right, similar time to that, we got the turf field at the stadium. So there was just a lot of positives around it, and they made the runs in 2012 and then 2013, and then that national championship run in 2014. And it is amazing how the community got involved and the alums from all decades reaching out, how great it is, and one fun thing is we don't have budgets for national championship rings. It's not something we budget every year.
Right. Yeah.
And we reached out, and I remember got from the alumni office of the foundation a list of alums, with that either were in athletics or athletic friendly, sent out and fundraised from it. And we got a good amount. And then out of nowhere, some guy who wasn't even a student athlete here emailed and said, I got it.
Covered it. Wow.
And he's covered it. He did the same thing with both softball national championships.
Can we share his name, or is it anonymous? Rick Young. Yeah.
He's now on the foundation board of trustees. Great guy from Wairika. Came up here as a business major, now lives in Kansas.
Oh, he lives in Kansas now.
Lives in Kansas.
Wow.
Yep. And it was just all through an email. For someone who was excited, like, holy crap.
Yeah.
SOU did this.
Yeah.
And they got on. So it's like that. The softball national championships, especially having a daughter growing up playing softball, that it's a special spot. Anytime that teams do something different, I remember going when women's soccer, we went back to Hattiesburg. They made it to the opening round, and they won the first and then lost the second. But that was the first time ever for that. And just to see, and I know a lot of the current student athletes don't get it, but just to see the alums, and especially me being connected with so many alums, just to see the alums of those programs get excited. Like,
Mhm.
we're what? Oh my God, that's so awesome because of what they've done before and
Mhm.
being part of the program in the past.
Mhm.
And that they get so excited when the teams win. And the same thing happened with softball, cross country. We're I don't know whether this is going to come out, but wrestling's going to be pretty close on the women's side to
Are they?
having a year like that. That program's taken off.
Mhm. Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, those are always, but it's also it's the times in the hall with the student athletes. I love right now all the kids running around the hall because that's how I worked. That's
Mhm.
how Gabby was.
Yeah.
Was that everything? And I love seeing your boys there, and Carlotta has
Yeah.
Karsten Liu there, and Coach Pistol brings in Beckett,
Yeah.
and Gert Gatlin brings in Reeve, and Burke has his 2 kids, and
Yeah.
I love that. I just love the kids running around, and just because I know what a positive experience is going to be, and
Mhm.
how great it is.
Mhm.
Matt had 2 kids. His Cora is now going to graduate high school, but he had 2 kids that are always around. I mean, to me, that's what it's all about. It's
Yeah.
the family atmosphere, and you don't get that everywhere. You
No,
don't get that everywhere.
that's really rare. That was a big
And that's
part.
how come I
Yeah.
asked the questions about Ani, because I was scared that you guys got rid of your kid with Ani and why he's not here. So
No, he's a runaway.
okay.
Yeah, no, just with his class schedule, it didn't fit with this, and we're kind of boxed into our time that we
Okay.
do it. Yeah,
Alright.
so it was.
Shout out,
but
Ani. We miss you, Ani.
yeah,
We
but
do miss you, Ani.
the family atmosphere, it's so awesome.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they know me, and they know you guys, and then they know your kids, they know your wife, they know your family. You see them, and especially being a small town, you see everyone everywhere.
Yeah.
You
We
know,
do.
you're
Yep.
out having dinner, someone walks by on the sidewalk, they wave in, everything like that. So
It's
pretty
great.
cool. It's
Yeah,
pretty
no,
cool.
bringing the boys back here and Ashley having the family here was
Yep.
the number one reason for me moving back here.
And a great place for kids to grow up.
Yeah.
There's a weirdness around Ashland and everything, but it's still
It's a healthy weirdness.
yeah, it is. It
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
And it's what we've been able to tell at Walker, it's a really good community where they
Mhm.
care about all the
Yeah.
kids, and I trust
This
trust my
community
kids.
loves their public schools. I mean, they taxed themselves years ago, to have the sports and activities levy,
Oh, I
where
didn't even
the
realize
property
that.
owners pay every year to help fund that. That says a lot
Interesting.
for a community and where their priorities are.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. And all this. So does that contribute to all the fields, like the green space that they have for soccer and those sort of things? Or is that separate?
no, that's separate. That's separate. But
Mm.
it goes to the budgets of what they're doing for travel and everything else. So that it helps a lot
Yeah.
with the K through 12s.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yep.
What professional sports do you get into?
I'm not much into professional sports anymore. I was,
Uh-huh.
and I've gotten to the point now. I'll watch a little bit of sports, but very rarely do I sit down and watch a game
Mhm.
anymore. Because I've seen plenty of games by this time.
Right.
But growing up, I was a Cowboys fan back in the day.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, that's also it's changed. I mean, I was the Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin. That was my group there.
Yeah.
Right.
Tell me you were born in the Northern California and you weren't a 49ers fan?
Oh, my dad loved the 49ers. I had to hate them, right?
So you and your dad butted heads.
You couldn't just be like, "Oh yeah, Dad, this is great." No,
Where's the
You gotta-
logic in that?
you got to pick the other team. You got to be the rebel there.
Yeah, that's
no,
fair.
so no, I didn't. I didn't. After they all disappeared, Jimmy Johnson disappeared. Then I was done with the Cowboys. They made some bad decisions, and I don't like the direction they're heading. Was a Lakers fan back in the day. Showtime.
Okay. Yeah.
I was a big Showtime guy. With Magic and Kareem and Worthy and Rambus and Michael Cooper and Byron Scott and Mitch Kupchak and all those.
You have them all.
That was my group. Because I'm sort of a Warriors fan now because grew up being Showtime. That's the way you play.
Yeah.
You get up and down the court, you share the ball,
Yeah.
make it exciting. That was me. That's what I loved watching. And so I'm sort of a Warriors fan there. And in baseball, sort of like the local team when it comes to baseball. That's it. I've sort of enjoyed watching the Kings finally get successful in basketball now, and light the beam after every victory. And I think that's kind of cool to see a program that's been down for so long to be successful. So I'm sort of a fair weather fan these days.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
I'm kind of the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get to a certain point. I do want to ask, was it really satisfying when you guys stole Deion Sanders from us and then beat us in the Super Bowl?
It wasn't the worst thing, but I was, you know what's funny? I was never a big Deion Sanders fan
Oh, you weren't?
until he started coaching and on social media. I like what he's doing.
Yeah.
I do. I kind of, which is kind of weird for old guy like me to say that's pretty cool what he's doing, and
Yeah.
but I like that Colorado got him. I think that's a big get by them to get him to that program that was in trouble,
Uh-huh.
and just they went for the big fish and got him, and I think he's going to do big things there. So
It's already getting guys there,
yeah,
that's for sure.
exactly. And in college, college big college basketball fan growing up, big North Carolina.
Mm.
Boy, last year was one of the most satisfying years I had. The fact that Carolina beat Duke in Coach K's last game at
Oh,
Cameron
yeah, yeah.
and his last game overall. I mean, that was emotional. Emotional. I needed some alone time to sort of just. There was not a better two things that could have happened
Yeah.
with that.
How
So,
great is that when you're a grown adult and sports can still
oh,
make you emotional?
oh yeah, I just thought that was so. Because I was a big Dean Smith guy. Read all his books.
Oh, yeah.
And just loved what he was about.
Mhm.
And of course, couldn't respect anything about Duke because of obvious reasons.
Yeah.
If you're a Dean Smith guy, a North Carolina guy, who cares what they do on that side?
Duke's the enemy.
Yeah, exactly. So that
Absolutely.
was sort of growing up. That was my college basketball fandom there.
Yep. I like it. What do you tell us about Ashland? What is it about
Ashland.
Ashland that you love?
I love I love how small but kind of big it is. I love that it does, even though it's a 20,000 person population, that it
Mhm.
still has a downtown.
Yeah.
And there's still a
Yep.
place you can walk.
Yeah.
Uh, I love the springs and the summers here and the falls. That you could walk around the park, walk around downtown, go eat at places, sit outside.
Mhm.
It's just I don't know. It's a special spot. And where we live right above downtown, so we can walk downtown all the time.
Oh,
And
you do?
yeah, and do that. So it's a pretty good experience that we have going on.
What city or town was Western State College
I
in?
was in Gunnison.
Gunnison.
That was Gunnison. Population about 5,000, elevation 7,500. It
Wow.
was
You're
on
up there.
top of the Rockies.
Wow.
On top of the
That's a
Rockies.
Division II school?
Division II school. Yeah, they play in the
Wow.
RMAC with Mesa, Colorado School of Mines, Regis, Metro State.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was Gunnison. They had the second.
Ashland's like LA compared to
Yeah,
Gunnison.
yeah. I tell people Gunnison is like talent without Ashland, Phoenix, or Medford around it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what it was. Had the second smallest Walmart in America.
How do you know that fact?
Because they tell you. They tell you. It's funny when
Are they proud of that?
yeah, when I interviewed, I flew from here to Denver to Grand Junction, and Gunnison does have an airport because it's by all the ski resorts, so it's a tourist.
yeah.
But they flew me to Grand Junction, which is about 2 hours away, because they make you drive so how isolated it is, and so you drive the 2 hours and then you start climbing up the Rockies, and boom, there you are in Gunnison.
Wow, up on the top.
It
looks beautiful in these pictures.
It's beautiful. Growing up in Mount Shasta, I was used to the snow and the small town life and everything like that. I remember my wife calling me after I interviewed, and she's like, "Well, how is it?" And I said, "Well, I love it. I don't know if you can do it, because she grew up in Woodland outside of Sacramento, and then came up here. She's an alum as well."
Mhm.
And I was like, I at least lived in a small town before. This is different, and we did it, and we went out there, and it was awesome. I mean, you talk about just quality people. I mean, just some of the best people on earth,
Mhm.
and just a beautiful place to live. The wildlife up there, and beautiful summers and falls, cold. I mean, we'd get up and it'd be minus 45, minus 46.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Minus 45.
Yeah. It's funny, when we first moved there, it got to 0 like a week or two that we were there.
Mhm.
And my wife was, I want to go outside and feel how it is. It was 0. We were there 6 years. There were some days it didn't get to 0. It was,
That's crazy,
you
yeah.
minus 46, it would, the high would be minus 20. minus
Yeah.
13. But one thing I loved about Gunnison, it's in that high desert. It's sunny. It'd be minus 40 and blue sky and sunny.
Oh yeah.
And I need that. I need the sunshine. I just need that. Yeah. You know, I remember my friends are always like, what are you doing? Why are you there? It's minus 40 degrees. I'm like, well, we're not going outside. We're not going out and have a picnic.
Right.
I go, but we're still able to work,
Uh-huh.
you know, and you're still able to look outside. It looks beautiful, you know, and that meant a lot. You go downtown and go to the post office, go to, you know, Safeway. Every car in the parking lot's running in the winter. No one would turn them off. Once you get your car going, you're not turn off. And there was no fear of someone jumping in your car and stealing it.
Wow, that's cool.
But every car in the parking lot's on.
So you have to have a garage. Probably no one's parking.
Yeah,
on the
we
street
didn't.
Either. You
we
didn't?
No, what we would do on those minus 40 days is Sarah and I would go out at the same time and jump in the car, and whichever one started, here we go. 1 car day. It was a 1 car day. We had to work, and yeah. But,
yeah, I had a few of those cold days in Illinois. Never got to negative 45, but that's when they start sending out warnings on your phone that you better not stay outside very long. Or it's dangerous. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you open the door and it's just like someone just immediately just blindsided you, just punched you.
Yeah,
your first reaction is your first reaction, right? Your coat freezes.
Yep.
And the springs in your car and the seats, you just sit down. It's like there's no move. It just everything's just frozen solid. You know, and and we didn't have it because I mean we're coming from Oregon and Northern California. A lot of people have the block heaters, you know, that plug in, and so we didn't. We just rolled the dice, and see what happened. So.
I always wondered how the natives, like the indigenous people, how do they live?
Yeah, I have no idea. Well,
bison skins.
Yeah, well, they were a lot stronger, a lot smarter than we were, anyways. So we
true.
know that going in.
Yeah,
so.
Illuminati.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So that was Gunnison. It was beautiful. It was, you know, really enjoyed that. And so the places we lived, Ashland and Gunnison's a pretty good couple places to, you know, to raise a family and, you know, to sort of lay your roots down.
Yeah. I love it.
Was this always like a dream job, so to speak, for you, or did you ever have aspirations of going to a higher?
I never really had the D1, you know. I always thought, especially when we were in Colorado, we'd drive back and forth, you know, because my family and Sarah's family's in Northern California. We were driving back and forth. I always thought Reno, UNR, wouldn't be a bad D1. It's still kind of small, but I like the small. I like being able to walk into whatever practice or down the hall and see you guys talking to people and know who they are. I like that. You get that Division I level, you're either stuck with a program, you know, or you just really don't know who anybody is. You know, you don't get that. Hey, here's a women's wrestler and there's a basketball player and there's a soccer player and a cross country and a cheerleader and I know every one of their names.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you do get pretty siloed, and it's people are really protective and secretive at a lot of those levels.
Yeah.
More of a community feel for sure.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you have a favorite conspiracy you want to share with us?
The Ani thing is really bothering me while he's not here, but other than that.
Not much of a conspiracy.
You need to ask him about it.
I am. I think tonight. I'll ask him tonight. I'll tell him I'm trying to help.
Is Ani working tonight?
Yeah.
I know you guys are.
I think I told him he needed to work.
In desperate need of shot clock operators.
Yeah. I had to run the shot clock last night.
You got a front row seat to the show.
It's true.
Showtime.
I always do, though. I mean, it's either working the door and talking to people when they come in or,
well, that's Winston's job. So
yeah, Coach Winston now. How about
Oh my gosh, that's
awesome.
Winston.
You talk about great people and why you're at a small college. Winston Jones is the perfect example why you're at a small college.
We need Winston on here.
Yeah,
we do need Winston on here. That's a good idea.
For him to, he comes in. Here's a hot take, but it's not that hot. He could be the most positive guy I know.
Yeah, I can.
He is positive about.
It's not a hot take at all. I think it's
he loves everybody. He's just a great human being. He's in all the sports. He's so smart when it comes to sports as well. He knows every sport.
Yeah,
every sport. You know, and we had him helping with soccer. He was running the scoreboard at soccer, and I was up there with Josh one game, just sort of hanging out. And Winston's just talking, and anything you ask him, he knows. Soccer to hockey to and it's like, holy cow, man! And it's just, it's top level stuff. You're like, my gosh, what a great, and he's just a great guy. He wants to be involved in everything. He wants to help, and he's just positive energy.
Yeah, wants the Raiders to win and
Oh,
everything.
everything. And I don't know. I mean, this is tough. He takes every loss pretty hard.
Does he?
He takes every loss of every team pretty hard.
I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just a great guy.
He takes Zozel's basketball class.
Yeah.
So
Does he teach it when Zozel's not around?
He probably could, but I talked to him yesterday, and I guess Zozel goes over all the scouting reports with the class and just tries to help them understand better.
He was questioning Zozel's take on the point guard last night being the best point guard in the conference. Winston brought that up to me. He didn't think he was.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Zozel's a major sandbagger, though.
Yeah.
He'll hype up someone like the next.
No, Winston brought it up a couple times before the game. Just like, I don't know. Coach thinks plays against us. He's not that good. Maybe it's how we play defense.
No, he knows the names of all the guys. He's like, oh, this guy's like, I'm curious to see how he is, and then he'll talk about how Zozel dogs on bread or Atmar during the film sessions with the class. He remembers it all. Like, he's on top of it.
Helps a lot with football too. He's out there with football all the time. He's just a good dude, and he's been like that forever. He grew up in Ashland. Grew up in Ashland, so we went to Ashland High, and he was the same guy there. He helped basketball. He played basketball. I think he played all 4 years.
Oh, he did.
He's got some highlights. He'll text you. He made a couple fourth quarter shots in his senior year. Yep.
Yeah.
He also some shooting contests. He made a half court shot for some amount of money at one of the high school games.
Really?
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. He is. If he's not in class, which he should be in class, he's at the rec center getting his shots up. And when I say he's getting his shots up, dunking and half court shots.
He can dunk?
Oh yeah. And he'll show you those videos.
I've seen him dunk.
Really? I've never seen that. Wow, I need to see it.
Yeah.
No, I remember.
But that's what it's about. I mean, that's a small college.
Yeah.
That's
CK was telling me how before the girls' senior night, he went on Twitter and made this super long, sweet, emotional message about all the girls and how much he appreciated them and the impact that they've had on the school and him personally.
What a stud.
Yeah, and it's like all the girls were pretty emotional about it, and he just joined the team pretty late in the year, and he wasn't be that bought in and appreciative. It was
this fall impressive. When he was helping with football and when they started to struggle a little. I mean, he took it hard. He took it to heart. I mean, he wants the best out of everybody.
Yeah,
best out of everybody.
So he's going to be right there on that football train next year.
Oh yeah, he's sitting 1A.
Is he a senior or?
He'll be here forever.
We got to get him on payroll. Yeah.
Who he's on payroll.
Oh, he is. I guess he is.
On payroll. Yeah.
Good for him.
Yep. But no, I think he's in his second or third year, but he'll be here. Yeah.
The only bad thing about Winston. He's a Raiders fan.
Oakland or Las Vegas Raiders.
Las Vegas Raiders. Not obviously not Southern Raiders, but he's a Las Vegas Raiders.
He's very real about those Raiders as well.
Oh, he's
high on him.
He is not.
Yeah, with how positive he is about the Southern Oregon Raiders, contrary with the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, not the big Derek Carr fan you'd think
he's
of.
So critical of Josh McDaniels and Derek Carr.
Yep.
So he wanted Derek Carr out of there, though?
I think game 2.
He's kind of right.
I talk to him every week. He's just like, oh, how about those Raiders, man? He's like, oh, Josh McDaniels, he's got to go. He's not, he doesn't have Tom Brady anymore. This and that.
Yeah.
Well, how cool was the ESPN affiliate student radio last night? What were they doing?
That was who? Oh, they were just over there just talking to themselves for the most part. But they just wanted the theme to be like ESPN was at the game. That was such a big time game that ESPN was there.
Were they streaming anything?
No.
They
were just talking to each other.
It was really
I looked over there. I'm like, they're really carrying this thing out.
They were on ESPN 8 The Ocho. You didn't know that?
Yeah. I don't get that. Our streaming service stops at 7. So we don't get the Ocho. Yeah. No, but it was funny. I looked over there and I thought at first they'd do it like for a photo or something, just all sit there. No. They ran it out. They had the sideline reporter. They had everything.
They had the headsets on.
Yeah, I was like, holy cow.
I really thought they were doing something because I looked over there and I was like, wow, they're really going for it. No. Asher's doing this.
I just thought of Dodgeball, the movie Dodgeball, and I saw the two commentators, Cotton and the other guy.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great movie.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. We need a dodgeball team, Bobby. Come on, get it together.
Yeah. It's on the list.
Dodgeball, baseball.
Yeah.
No
I
baseball?
don't see that. I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Okay.
It's tough, with our lineup of offerings we have here at
Mhm.
SOU. It's make it tough to bring on a big male dominated team like that.
Mm-hmm.
We're one of the rare schools that has football, men's wrestling, and men's track and field, and not only that, but all three that carry a high number of student athletes.
Yeah, that's
And
a
so
lot.
that sort of tips the scales sometimes. So I think that would be a little tough to pull off.
Well, I don't think many teams in the league have baseball other than
No.
LC State, right?
Yeah, LC State, Eastern Oregon, Corbin, and College of Idaho,
Corbin has
and
baseball?
BC, British Columbia.
I didn't know Corbin had baseball. Wow.
Yeah.
So is it just like a little 5-team conference?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's they get one bid to the nationals, and well, they would get two because LC State gets the automatic because they host every year.
They
Yeah.
do? They get an
Yeah.
automatic by
Yeah.
hosting?
Yeah,
They have
I
that
believe
really
so.
nice stadium.
Yeah,
I
that
believe so,
stadium's
yeah.
nice.
Yeah,
Their
Yeah.
basketball is nice too. They have a video board in their basketball.
Yeah, they're really nice.
yeah. So,
Not good
but yeah,
enough to
video boards, it's on the list.
That's
Yeah.
when you said that,
We got to
I
do
was
it right
thinking that was
though.
awesome.
There's some teams in the conference that have a video board that
mediocre.
yeah,
Yeah, if you're gonna get one,
yeah, you
get
got
a
to do it
good
right.
one. Yeah.
You got to do it right. That's why I was so nervous when we got the football one. I was thinking that same. I was like, that thing's gonna show up and it's gonna look like a freaking message board at Butler Ford. It's like
Right,
this is
right.
not gonna,
Well,
and
Then you
it
just
showed
look
up and I went,
tacky.
oh my god, thank God.
Yeah.
But yeah, the same with the indoor board. It's got to be. It's tough. It's tough in a gym like we have. As a gym just like ours is St. Mary's.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's very similar, and they got a big old board. I'm like, dude, half the crowd can't see that because it's right here.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's we've always talked. It's got to be the sort of the perfect size and.
Yeah. And would it hang from the middle or would we
Oh
get
no,
it
no.
be
I
on a
think
baseline?
the plans right now again would be kind of like the main interest store there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sort of by the offices.
Yeah.
I think it's a 12x16 or something like that.
Good
Is what we
size.
sort of what we would like, what we've sort of said would fit there. So
That sounds cool.
If you really want to spend the budget correctly, you
Yes.
need to get one of those like t-shirt shooting guns.
that was brought up this year as well in a meeting. Those things are not cheap.
How much are they?
I don't remember what it was, but it was not
Thousands?
cheap. Yeah. Oh yeah, it was in the thousands.
Yeah.
I was back in the day, every ROTC program seemed to have one of those, and apparently they don't have them anymore.
Yeah, well,
Those are awesome,
that's
but
when we know we'll make it is when we have one of those.
Yeah.
but our gym isn't so big that you can't throw it at the top
You should be able to throw up
top
there.
stair.
Yeah.
Sayer needs to work on his arm though.
It's way
I saw him
cooler. It's
coming
way
up short.
cooler to just shoot some of those out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. From the other
I
side.
agree.
Other side.
Peg people right in the nose.
Yeah.
Well, is there any student athletes that you're going to be sad to see go? I mean, I know you have a lot of close ties, but there are any seniors that have been around for a while where you're like,
I think every year you go through that.
Yeah.
Every year. Yeah. I mean, with you guys, Tez and Josh, I mean, they've
Mhm.
both been here like 13 years.
yeah, they're all
Yeah. But I mean, to see them, and especially with this group that's coming through, not just basketball, but all the sports that went through COVID and all that crap of, we're playing, not playing. You need a mask, not a mask. You need this, you need that. You don't need this, for 3 years of doing that.
yeah,
They've got a special place in all of our heart because they stuck to it,
yeah,
and rightfully so. There's a lot of people that didn't,
yeah,
and we get that. I mean, that was right decisions for everybody.
yeah.
But those that have stuck through, to see that. I mean, softball had a group 2 years ago that stuck through everything, and that's when they won that second national championship. And those people that came back for that 5th year, 6th year,
Yeah.
that means a lot because they're done, right?
Right.
They don't have to.
Yeah.
They got for all those that have come back for their 5th, 6th year, they've got their degrees.
Yeah.
They could easily go and get a job and move on with their life, and they've stuck around. So it's always people like that sort of have a special part. I mean, Cammie Walk, for being on the team, then not on the team and coming back. It's people like that you go, this is special. It's a special Raider there that's sticking to it and believing in everything that's going on. Because you have to believe not only in the program, you got to believe in the department and everything that's being put out there.
Yeah.
So.
Well, was Josh also on the team? I know Tez was it was a really good team and made it to the tournament.
The last good men's team.
And then they didn't even get a chance to try and win it.
Yeah, and they
had a shot.
They had a shot. They had a shot. They had a shot to win some games.
Yeah.
And that was before the opening round, so everything was back back in the Midwest. So,
Yeah.
you could go on a little run there, and that was tough. Softball, they got shut down when
Same thing.
yeah, in 2020 they got shut down, and they had everybody back from blowing through everyone in 2019.
Oh, that's
And that
rough.
was one of the cool stories that they all came back for 20, or the majority of them came back for 2021
Uh-huh.
and did it again then.
Oh, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is incredible. I never
Yeah.
put that all together. So they won, and then they had a year taken from them, and they
Yeah.
came back and won again.
Yeah, they came back and went, yeah, because they canceled, when everything went down, and gosh, we gotta be coming up close. It was
March.
yeah, in a few weeks.
Yep.
It's kind of the anniversary of we're stopping everything and everyone run for the hills.
Yeah.
And and softball was just getting started. I think they were number 1 in the nation.
So they could have three-peated potentially.
They could have, yeah. It would have been interesting to see if well, they wouldn't have got that year back. Some of those players wouldn't have, but they potentially
I
could
see.
have. But that
Yeah.
core,
Yeah.
but that core decided to come back that next year and go through it. And when they went through it, it's that's when you have the special rules about masks and high-fiving, and game balls, don't touch the game balls. You can only touch your own, and the other team has theirs, and all that stuff. That was just a weird time. And Matt and I talk about it sometime, where we'd get an email that this is what we're doing, and we'd spend 2 days coming up with a plan to do this.
Yeah.
And by the time we felt confident about that plan, we get another email that we're doing this, and it's like, oh my. And so we'd
Right.
work on a plan to do this, and the plan was always to be safe, but also to get the student athletes out there doing something, right?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's because we were the only ones on campus, right? Everyone else was told to go home.
Yeah.
And so the campus
Interesting,
here in
yeah.
Ashland was just student athletes. And we were, that was our thing of working hard to just make sure we could get out there and play, because that's what you want. You want them to get out there.
Right. They
Well,
need to.
I think during COVID especially, mental health became a lot more prevalent in
Yeah.
people and a lot more valued.
Yeah.
Can you just speak to that a little bit and what the administrator's role is? And
It's tough. It's something we deal with all the time. And I know that even this year, we brought in Coach Caughs there for a while. I know the Student Health Center on campus, Ross, and the trainers have got a pretty good relationship with them going, of sort of an on-call site that student athletes can call, or they can go straight up to the health center. It's huge. It's huge now. And here's the thing, it's been huge for a long time.
mhm.
It's
Yeah.
just now people are really focused on this, and
Yeah.
rightfully so. This is
Mhm.
something we need to, you talk about the whole student athlete and everything that we're here, working in the athletic department for. We see them every day. We know when
Mhm.
the ups and the downs, and we know where they're trending,
Right.
and to have access to get them help is very important. Very important.
Yeah.
Well, and it seems like SOU specifically takes a lot of pride in it.
Yep.
Like at least I was just at the junior college level before, and it wasn't nearly as much of a topic of conversation or pride that
Yeah.
SOU seems to take in it.
Yeah. And I think you have to. And again, it comes back to this, who we have here,
Mhm.
the staff we have.
Mhm.
That there's not a lot of turnover. There's a lot of people that are bought in here. There's
Mm.
people that live here.
Mhm.
And because of that, it takes on those extra levels, those extra layers of kind of love
Yeah.
that we have for each other and the student athletes.
Mhm.
And everything that they're dealing with becomes very important, and it should.
Yeah.
And we got to be able to. And I think that's one thing COVID taught us. We got to be able to pivot.
Right. Right.
I mean, an easy answer could be, well, we don't do anything with mental health. We don't have the budget. That's an easy answer, but
Mhm.
we've never been like that. We're going to find a way.
Yeah.
We're going to find a way to make this important. If it's important to them, if this is an important topic, we're going to talk about it. We're going to figure out a way to do this.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
mean, we talked about some of the cool stuff for recruiting and whatnot that helps attract student athletes and boost enrollment and whatnot. But I think that's another part that is super important, just the care
Yeah.
that the athletes think that the administration has in them and the coaches and just
Well,
everybody
and that
involved.
also helps the parents. It puts the parents at ease.
Yeah.
That's the thing. For the majority of these, they're walking through the halls with mom and dad, and maybe a
Yeah.
sibling, and to know that that's how we act around here, and that's what we believe in. It's
Mhm.
huge. It's huge. So
And even just the recruits that I've helped bring to campus, like they instantly sort of feel and understand just the commitment to athletics and trying to do our best on the field or
Yep.
court and off. And
Yeah.
it's just
And that is
impressive.
one, I mean, earlier today, I had a meeting with a group of students in the Dean of Students office, which shockingly was a positive meeting, not a negative meeting.
Yeah,
They
that is
usually have in
shocking.
the Dean of
Yeah.
Students. Usually it's like, do we have to go up there? No,
Right,
but it was,
right.
you know, we were talking about some events that we're doing with the Dean of Students and just talking to the administrators up on campus. They get it, you know, and that's comfortable. There's
Yeah.
been times where you've got a meeting with someone and you're in the back of your mind going, this is, we're all not on the same page,
Right.
you know, we're not
Yeah.
on the same page, we're on the same book,
Mhm.
you know, and it's a good feeling to know you can walk into a room and, you know, that they have the same understanding that you do. And you're both working towards the same thing with the
Right.
students we have.
Yeah.
So,
That is huge.
Yep.
Yeah, we've had quite a few recruits on campus. I don't think that we've ever had a recruit here who didn't enjoy it here.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, we're
Well,
not
that's-
obviously not gonna get them all, but they
Yep.
all feel good about Southern Oregon.
You talk to a lot of our coaches and they, you know, because the recruiting process is a lot more than when they're here on campus.
Right.
Right. And they say if they can get the parents here, it's done deal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Done deal.
Mhm.
Because the parents see downtown, they see Ashland, they see what's going on here on campus, and they're bought in. Bought
Mhm.
in. The toughest thing is those first couple months,
Mhm.
you know, to get them to sort of put SOU on the board.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's here we go, you know, and you get them here on campus, they are bought in and locked in.
And I mean, it just totally changes their perception of small college
Yep.
athletics and, like you said, the city of Ashland and SOU in general, just
Yeah.
because everyone has their own idea of
Yeah.
small college athletics when you see, you know, all these Division I games on TV and their facilities.
Yeah.
But I mean, we had a Division I bounce back on campus this past summer who ended up going somewhere else, but it wasn't, you know, because of, you know, he didn't like this place. It was
Yeah.
just we didn't end up having enough scholarship
Sure.
money.
Yeah.
But he said that our facilities were better than his old Division I school.
Yeah, for a lot of what we do, I put it up against that, you know, and that's another battle that
Mhm.
we fight here, especially being a West Coast NAIA school,
Mhm.
right? Because everyone thinks, oh, you're NAIA, and no one on the I-5 corridor really knows what that is,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
and they immediately assume you're Division III, and we're
Mhm.
like, no, we're not Division III.
Mm-mm.
Division threes won't play us,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And so it's like, no, let's take the next jump, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of Division IIs won't either.
And that's the thing. You get those Division twos, and we're top level Division II, and even some in those sports like basketball where there's a billion Division I programs.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're right in that area too.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a battle we have to fight
No
too.
doubt. Yeah.
Is what is NAI? What is that? You know,
Mhm.
but when you get them on campus, you see our facilities against what they're looking at, then it's oh, okay, now we get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it seems like an overwhelming majority of the people that I played with, coached, know from other sports that have done their 4 years here, whatever it is, they are really proud
Yep.
of being a Raider. I know very few people who I can't think of anyone off the top of my head that's like, oh, I hated Southern
Yeah.
Oregon or I didn't.
That it
like
was a
my
bad
It was a bad
experience.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. It is tough to find, you know,
Yeah.
and again, you're talking about, and the people you've seen and I've seen, we're not talking about the all conference guys,
Yeah. Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
We're talking about everyone that was on that roster,
Yeah.
you know, and that's what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Very rarely, very, very, very rarely is anyone going from here on to play, right?
Yeah. Right.
So at the end of the
Exactly.
day, your success is at the conference level, the national level, and your memories are there if you get there, but your memories are every day of practice, weights, you're on the vans, on the bus, that study halls, going to classes, being in the dorms, stuff like that. That's what
Mhm.
it's about.
Yeah.
For us. That's what it's about for our level. So
Yeah. You're right.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you have anything else you want to share? Did you get all your hot takes out there?
that's it. I don't have a lot.
Oh,
There
that
has
was
been some bad.
underwhelming.
I know, but there's been. Well, I was nervous because there's been such bad hot takes,
That's why when we talked
and I didn't
about
have
this,
time to get my list of everyone's hot take.
you
That
didn't
was
have
originally.
time. All you
Originally,
have
I
is
was going to
time.
get a list of everyone's hot take, and we
Mhm.
were going to grade it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? CK with the pineapple on the pizza.
Yeah.
Positive.
Yeah.
I didn't see this. Someone told me Brett's hot take with the strawberries.
Yeah.
On pizza.
That is
Horrible.
correct. He
Horrible.
said that into the mic.
Okay.
Despicable.
Yeah. See that wasn't good.
I think he was just trying to be controversial. I don't think he
By
actually.
throwing it down strawberries on a pizza. That's controversial.
Is that
you
even
know?
a topping that's offered at
I don't know. You can't go to Gapco and get that, I bet.
He claimed it was at Mod, that there was strawberries there, and someone else said that those are for the salads,
Oh my
but he
God.
threw them on the pizza. That's what
Brett's,
he said.
Brett's an outside the box kind of guy, so
Yeah.
it does fit. But
Yeah.
I don't know if he actually does that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think he was just trying to,
Yep.
you know,
I don't know.
drop some jaws, so to speak.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the views if it moved the needle that much.
Yeah, I
Didn't
don't
move
know
in the
either.
right way.
No, it got some reaction. I
Did
mean,
get
we're
some
talking about it
reaction,
now.
yeah.
So
There you go. You're
Yeah,
exactly
I do
right.
have one thing I want to address before
Yes.
we wrap up.
Yeah.
What happened to the Lithia water? Who cut the pipes?
Downtown?
Yeah,
Well, I think
they cut the
it's
pipe.
out of order right now.
it's always out of order. I think there's a lot of maintenance with Lithia water.
Oh,
Wow.
Not the cleanest water. I don't know if you noticed that or not.
it's delicious.
Well, that's a hot take there on its own.
Delicious, huh? That's not the adjective.
You know what
I
that
would
is? That's a prank that tourists pull on each other.
I've seen so many
Yeah.
people do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The kids
Yeah.
groups, because you get that one kid who's maybe in 7th grade for the second time, so he's taking that field trip back to Ashland,
Uh-huh.
and then he's got his buddies, and they come up, and he like does the pump fake
Uh-huh.
into the Lithia water,
Yeah, he
and
doesn't
he tells
drink it.
Jimmy and Frank to come over, and I don't even know if anyone's named Frank anymore. I don't think anyone's named Frank anymore. But hey, this is awesome, which is amazing because you can smell that from about 10 feet away,
Yeah,
the
and they
egg, the
still
rotten egg.
go for it every time. Every time.
The
Yeah.
taste honestly isn't as bad as the smell.
I 100%. The smell gets me.
Yeah, if you like sort of just, don't breathe through your nose and just
Yeah.
taste just a little salty, a little bit kind
Yeah.
of, but I mean, it's not
But
horrible.
I have people that work for the city that I can find out, but I'm pretty sure there's just a lot of maintenance with mineral water and everything like
Okay, because I do want to know.
I'm pretty sure it'll be back in the working order soon.
it will be okay. I was
It may
really
have to do with
worried.
temperature, maybe when it gets cold.
That makes sense.
Could
Yeah.
be. We went to
Sounds good.
We went to Brothers on Sunday and had a delicious brunch at Brothers.
The family,
The family,
Yeah.
yeah, the four of us, and
like chocolate chip pancakes. Is that what the little fella gets?
he just had the regular pancakes, but
Oh.
they had like the
He's
Mickey
probably a
ears.
year away. Oh yeah, okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had a little design to
Some
them.
hot chocolate too.
What did he get to drink? Quay, did you have hot chocolate?
Apple juice.
Orange juice?
He just side-eyed me.
Okay.
I think he
He
just
doesn't
drank.
want to be. He doesn't
Yeah,
want to be part of the
Yummy.
show. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Course-
think he just drank water, but I enjoy a quick drink of Lithia water. It's probably mental, but I feel
Is
like
that, is it the cleanse your palate type of thing?
it does something. Yeah,
refreshing.
I feel like a
Yeah, I don't know.
superhero.
There's a lot of good places in Ashland, a lot of supportive places
Uh-huh.
that I like to visit.
Uh-huh.
The Lithia Fountain,
Is not it?
probably not top 30.
Top 30.
I don't even think it's top 30.
Wow.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite restaurants? You've been here a while.
Some of favorite restaurants?
Yeah.
Depends what you're doing.
Just favorite.
Like
Yeah, I don't
like,
need genres.
you
I
want
don't-
like fancy, like we're going out.
No, just favorite.
Okay, Harvey's
Okay.
and Beezy's on the Creek
Ooh, steakhouse. Okay.
are both owned by big SU athletic supporter Rob Harvey.
Uh-huh.
Those are very good.
Where's Harvey's?
Harvey's is by Martoli's and the City Hall down there.
Oh.
Mm.
You know the little burrito place? You know, it's right
Yeah.
below Shakespeare.
Yep.
Where that walkway goes up to Shakespeare.
Uh-huh.
Harvey's right used to be Shadow Lynn back. I don't know if you remember
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah.
Right there on the corner.
That's Harvey's. Okay.
So you got that. Those are nice restaurants. Martino's right next
Mhm.
door. Upstairs is it's a nice restaurant. After that, El Prizo.
Mm.
You go over there, get the Bobby burrito. I highly recommend that.
There's a Bobby burrito.
Wow. You're a legend.
You are a legend.
I mean, people have goals. Yep.
TJ Taco. That sounds nice.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that's something there. Yeah. But yeah, so El Prizo on the other side of the freeway there, they're a big supporter. The football post games are always there.
Oh, they are.
After every football game, the
Huh.
post game party's there. Gets a little crazy.
I thought that was at Red Zone.
No.
I'm surprised they don't have a drink named after you.
At the Red Zone?
The Corona, Bobby.
Red Zone.
Bobby
There's
Corona.
a picture of me on a $2 bill at Red Zone.
Is there really?
Yeah.
Like you're the face in the middle.
Yeah.
Like you're their president.
Yes.
Bobby's
The
my
2%.
president.
Yes. The Red Zone, Oak Tree. Those are
Yeah.
big sponsors. Big Omar's.
Oh,
Yeah.
Omar's a great place. Northwest Pizza, proud sponsor of
Proud
those
sponsor.
little-
Shout out
Yes.
Morgan George.
Yeah. Yep. Gapco. There's a lot of good places.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good places.
There's a lot of good food around
Yeah.
here.
I just
Yeah,
like
it's
to
tough.
ask people.
It's tough. I mean, like I've seen you. The life we live in athletics sometimes means it's 8:30, 9 o'clock when we're done. And
Yeah.
right now, Ashland's struggling a little with post 9 p.m. So
Yeah.
Red Zone, Omar's, some of the few places, Northwest, some of the few places that are open that
Creekside.
late. Yeah,
Creekside was about the only option after the Walla Walla game.
Yeah, Creekside sometimes pretty full of the young people.
Yeah, I just
heard
stopped.
that.
I
Yeah,
stopped in there for
which is great for them. I
Mhm.
just I'm gonna choose somewhere else.
A little too much.
But I'll send the young people there.
well
just not for me.
when we had
Right,
the
right.
9 p.m. tip off against Walla
Oh.
Walla, I had to get something.
I had to get to bed. Is what I had to get.
Yeah,
That
me
was
too.
I just
bad.
didn't eat before, so I was starving. I just
Yeah.
had to pop in.
That's rough. Yeah. Yep. But yeah, that's my take. I'm sure I forgot somewhere that I'll hear from. Probably my phone's going off now. Probably someone knows that I forgot.
Those are all good. Yeah, our
Big
listeners
Owls.
are
You can't forget
dialed in.
about Big Owls.
Oh, Big
Oh,
Owls
on the
is
north
delicious.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was the first one.
Arturo. That guy. I mean,
Arturo's the
yeah.
the
You
owner?
order a small of something, you get a large.
You get a big portion
Yeah.
there. Yeah, I like
That was the first place I ate at when I came down here with
Yep.
Sozel.
Yeah.
And I ordered a Reuben sandwich.
Yep.
With fries.
And you still have leftovers.
No, he gave me an extra side of fries.
Yeah.
He gave me a milkshake.
Bueno, no bueno.
Oh,
That's what
delicious.
he asks. Every time you come to the counter, that's what he yells in the back.
Yeah.
Because I just had like my little generic SOU shirt on. He was
Yeah.
like,
Oh yeah.
struck up a conversation.
Yeah.
Like he was awesome.
There's a big basketball photo up there too.
Yeah.
When they
Saw that one.
I think that Tez's freshman year, I think they upset Warner Pack in the playoffs up there. I think, and he went up to the game. There's a picture of the team with him.
He went to the game
at Warner Pack's gym
because a bunch of the players used to go in and eat and developed
he
a
just wanted to
relationship.
go
That's
watch,
really
yeah.
cool.
It is there. I mean, and not in, Ashland's a tourist town, and some businesses, rightfully so, sort of focus more on the tourism. But those that are looking for like the year-round bang for the buck there,
Yeah,
that have kind of aligned with SOU athletics, they're big supporters. They help out anything we need, and they get it too. We've got some hotels around that do it.
yeah,
They know, and it's funny. You you talk to some of the owners, and they know when we have home events, any home event. They know.
Mhm.
They know on Thursday when there's a home event.
That's awesome.
All of a sudden they get busy,
Yeah,
and they're busy Thursday, Friday, Saturday of
Yeah.
any sport that we have at home. Those spots that are big supporters of ours,
Uh-huh.
they know it. It's awesome.
Yeah,
They're so appreciative of it too.
that was
you know.
great.
Yeah.
Well, any more wise words?
I think that's all I have. This is probably the longest I've talked to someone like straight in a while. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go take a nap.
No, it's awesome. Bobby, you're a legend. Men's basketball really appreciates you and all the work that you do and being around and supporting us. And we appreciate you for coming on. This was really fun. for
Yeah,
me.
thanks. You guys are doing a great job. I'm keeping tabs.
Thank you.
And yeah. Next time I come on, Ani's coming with me.
Yeah, let's bring him on. I know because Aiden first said that we were going to get you on, and I felt like we had made it.
Well, I thought when he first said it, I thought you said, "Well, we've done something wrong." So
no,
Right.
no, I had just
we need
already
to clean things up.
I had just already scheduled something. It was my miscommunication with
all right.
Aiden, so we threw your time off. But I was glad that you didn't.
No, this is awesome. This is great what you guys are doing. So,
Yeah.
and especially going like across the department.
You're right.
Yeah.
We're trying to get everyone. It's
Yep.
it's hard because there's so many great athletes to talk to,
And there's so many
coaches
great
to talk to.
stories out there too.
Yeah.
The Carter Pruitt one.
Oh,
Yeah.
he was so fun to talk
Yeah.
to.
That
Uh-huh.
was good.
He's funny to me.
Yeah.
He was really
He is.
funny. Yeah,
I really enjoyed getting to know him more during the football search.
Oh
Yeah. I get the joy of pretty much sharing all the searches we do.
Uh-huh.
And the last one, the football one, Carter was on it, and it was fun.
Yeah.
You want to know what's going down with the program? Trainer's a good person to go to.
Yeah.
They know. They
can
know.
see
And
that.
professionally,
Right.
but they know what really is happening.
Right.
And how the student athletes feel, and what's going on there.
Yeah.
And so Carter was very helpful during that process.
nice.
So
Yeah.
Shout out Ross. Shout out Carter. Shout out
Mark, we got
Mark,
Macy, we
Yep.
got Danny Dez,
Shout out the
Lauren and Lizzie.
the master students.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
It's a
Thank
good
you all.
group.
So, all right. Well, thank you guys. This has been awesome.
Thank you.
All right.
Bobby, we're out.